Are you sure you want to start the stream? Absolutely. YouTube, where are you? There you are, YouTube. We're here. That's right. Successful. I want to see it working. That's all I need to see right now. I want to see my own face. Narcissist as always. Anyway, before I get distracted, yes. We're here. We're starting officially. As a video should. Talking about Exalted Warframes. The very last class tier list. And I'm also going to throw in Invisibility Warframes and a couple honorable mentions. But the really honorable mentions is just a nice way of saying I can't figure out where to put them in a class tier list because the way that I use them is really weird. And so, without further ado, I will say next week, you're going to want to be here next week because we are finally... After I've perfected my stream and now I'm ready to do this, I messed it up the first time. I'm coming back around and we're doing the top 10 Warframes. That's right. Next week, we're doing the top 10 Warframes. We're going to be playing all of them. I don't care how long it takes. We're going to be playing 10 different Warframes. That's 55. That's an hour of content right there. We're going to have to be really fast. Shout out Daniel Reyes for being here at the 1 minute mark. Shout out Jod Snow for following at the 1 minute mark on TikTok. And without further ado, let's begin, folks. With Exalted Warframes and with the best Exalted Warframe in the game, I think you guys have been waiting for this moment. I know the commenters. There's one specific commenter that can no longer comment on this channel. And he would be like, that's where Baruuk belongs, at the #1 spot. His Desert Wind is such a criminal ability. I love him with Arcane Avenger, which is a stupid combo for a lot of people, but it just gets numbers on top of numbers. It's so good. Oh my god. Anybody who plays Baruuk, I love his slide attack. You know, when you slide on the ground and then do the melee attack, yada, yada, yada. It does a lot of damage. Oh my god. I love Baruuk. Anyway, he deserves to be #1. This is where he belongs. This is where he is best served as #1. In other slots, you know, as a DPS, whatever. #2 on the list belongs here, absolutely, Mesa. I didn't want to put Mesa as #1. I feel like that would piss off too many people. Mesa at #2. Obviously, Baruuk is a tank. You should know that. He has 90% damage reduction at all times. And when you have Desert Wind, you have 40. So there's a tank. And then Mesa also a tank because you're getting 95% damage reduction from your Shatter Shield. So obviously, the DPS comes in the form of her 4. Yeah, I did try Gyre's Augment, Daniel. I did. It was really good, and I love her now, and I don't use Coil Horizon on her. But anyway, Mesa, double buff, her second ability, and of course, putting Roar in the first slot. DPS is kind of just me being like, oh wow, her fourth ability is basically just a map wipe if you play it right. But yeah, I mean, Mesa is exactly what you want to see in like an OG-ish Warframe, like still not super new, but also not super old either. Like Mutalist Alad V was definitely later in the game. That was Eris, I guess. But yeah, I mean, Mesa #2 on the list, easy slot. #3 on the list, Excalibur, good to be down a little bit. Excalibur is OG. Having a damage reduction ability doesn't make a tank, TBH. Well, I think the main thing is like, if you have a damage reduction ability, then that means you don't need to worry about having Arcane Guardian. Because there are certain frames that just don't have any other damage reduction, so I have to use Arcane Guardian so they're not as squishy. But yeah, the main thing is like it frees up an Arcane slot, so that's why you can use Arcane Energize, is because you have that 95% damage reduction. You're not as worried about damage being hit because you should be killing everything because you have Arcane Energize at max rank. So it's like, yeah, the whole point of a tank is it's like you're able to buff yourself and make yourself stronger in some way because you're not sacrificing arcanes for defense. So you end up getting a little bit more, you know, DPS boost out of it, whether that's Arcane Avenger in like a triple Umbra tank or with Arcane Energize with Mesa. Anyway, #3 on the list, Excalibur, more of like a classic tank. Yeah, triple Umbra tank, you're getting like, what, 1,000 armor. Spam adaptation. Keep your 4 active. I think I have Breach Surge in there. Excalibur Umbra has this really weird thing where it's like when you swap to your operator and he becomes a Spectre, it deactivates any duration-based ability. So you can't use Roar. You can't use any kind of damage buff. So you're kind of forced to use like some kind of DPS boost ability, which is, you know, you guys know me at this point. I'm gonna just put Breach Surge on there. You're just getting so many hits from your like the blades of your Excalibur, you know, laser blade, that you get the idea. It's just lots of hit damage all the time, pretty good. Anyway, number 4 on the list, Sevagoth. You know, kind of a fun exalted frame, because Sevagoth is a full exalted frame, not just an exalted weapon. Cardinus says Daddy Hardroid. Very hard to play Excalibur on Steel Path. I think what I found is like that's why I love Breach Surge. Is like Breach Surge is useful even if you're not using Excalibur's, you know, weapon or damage. Oh God, why is this this time is it's from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Anyway, this I just realized this graph on YouTube is totally messed up. But before I get too distracted, Sevagoth has a full other form, and it's this entire gameplay mechanic of going back and forth, and it's so much fun, and it's really crazy. And then you also get this augment that I've totally forgotten about, and I don't think I've even mentioned Sevagoth at all in any of these tier lists. I think this is the first time I'm mentioning Sevagoth, which might be crazy, but his augment for his reap, I guess it is, where the dudes fly out, it gives you more dudes, and the dudes are giving you like damage vulnerability, like you're making enemies take more damage, and then you just spam Breach Surge and you're like, oh God, and you're like, I don't even use Gloom. Like people are like, you took Gloom off of Sevagoth? I'm like, yeah. And you're like, oh God, everybody in the comments like, oh my God, what the, oh my God, like that's gonna be every comment now. Anyway, number 5 on the list. You get the idea. Sevagoth is cool in his normal form, and then you go into the Spectre, and you're like this big circle that can hit anything and has this same damage vulnerability, but it's better, and you also have this pull ability, so it's pretty savage. It's pretty insane. I've got to just put him at number 4 because there's only 8 of these, so number 5, like the top 5 is like more than half of the list. Number 5 on the list, Titania. Getting a little bit of active CC from being able to use the lantern. Daniel says, bro, Gloom OP AF. Put that shit on Ashe. I don't die. Dude, I mean, I don't die with Ashe because you get the crit chance bonus. I mean, the Ashe crit chance bonus is, oh my God. Anyway, we're going to talk about him later. Anyway, before I get distracted, number 5 on the list, Titania. Whew, we're at 7 minutes, so we're still doing pretty good. Titania, fly around in your Arcwing, whatever. It deals a lot of damage. Cool. You get slash, you get fire, you get viral. It's savage. It's fun. You also get your lantern, so you have this cool little mechanic where you're like zipping and zoodling around, and the lantern is pacifying everything and pulling everything towards that little lantern, and then you just zip around as the Titania with your roar buff active, and then you're just boop, 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 you're just shooting everything. You know, you kind of have a lay of the land. It deals a lot of damage, but you know, overall it's like number 5 is still pretty high, but definitely not as cool and crazy as something like Sevagoth or Baruuk. So keep that in mind. Number 6 on the list, Valkyr. What are you talking about with Valkyr? I mean, what are you talking about? It's really just, she has a lot of armor. She doesn't die. You press 4 if you're ever scared. You go invincible and then you revive yourself. And then you have rage on there. So the whole gimmick is like, as long as you get hit, you'll have infinite energy. And then if you ever get scared and your health drops, you just press 4 and you're invincible. Get the health back. You don't need to be in your 4 for a long time. So that's why it's number 6 on the list. But it's still definitely cooler than Hildryn and Wukong. So Hildryn, number 7 on, I guess I should say, like with Valkyr, like the last thing is like I ended up putting Ensnare on her because I was like, she's a little bit boring. It's just attack, like melee attack speed and armor and your 4th ability, which is the exalted weapon. So I was like, oh cool, she doesn't really need insane stats, so I can put just 90% range on her, and then now Ensnare makes her a little bit more useful and a little bit more fun. You know, if you want to pull out the Nadaruk or like a Sinta or something really interesting like that. Anyway, number 7 on the list. We'll talk about the other ones. Will be way easier to talk about. I'm just gonna kind of briefly go over them. Number 7 on the list, Hildryn. That's kind of my main Hildryn. Like the exalted part of Hildryn, I never really end up using. It deals a lot of damage. I end up putting corrosive and heat on it, but it's like, I don't know. I just never end up using it. I think with Hildryn more, I just used her fucking DPS abilities. But, you know, I'm trying to rank, you know, based on the exalted weapon. Like, there's a lot of cooler exalted weapons. But Hildryn is... I don't really use her exalted weapons. I don't really have a reason to. Just, like, I'm just spamming Blazing Pillage and Breach Surge, and that's it. I love Limbo. He'd be my main if I was better with him. Shout out Live for the Ride. Limbo is so weird, dude. If you main Limbo, I'm not gonna judge you, but I would never main Limbo. I couldn't. I feel like it's so... Limbo is crazy. Oh my god, we'll talk about him later. That's number 7 on the list, Hildryn. I'm not really using her exalted. She does have infinite energy. She is kind of very spammable because she has that infinite energy thing. Number 8 on the list, Wukong. He has a staff. It's mostly impact damage. It's big range, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to replace it with Roar in my normal build. And then I'm just going to run around with my clone and have him use whatever melee weapon I'm using. That's basically it. I have a question. What would happen if you put an ability that takes energy over time on Lavos? Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question. Oh my god. Daniel, you have blown my mind. I don't know if that's even possible. Maybe it has a built-up cooldown where when you deactivate it, the cooldown is like infinite or something. I don't know. That's insane. Prose versus Poetry says yes or yas. Gossarella. Did I say that right? Anyway, number 8 on the list. I mean, Wukong, what is he? I'm not using his exalted weapon. I'm replacing it with Roar. Right? You press 2, you heal, you run away. You press 3, you get 1500 armor for like 40 seconds. You press 1, you have a celestial twin that shoots your gun or uses your melee. Too easy to just get rid of the exalted. It's one of the only exalteds that I'll ever get rid of and not even bat an eye at. So keep that in mind, folks. I hope that explains it. That's all the exalted Warframes. We're moving on. It's 7:12. We're still doing pretty good. 8 Warframes for 12 minutes. That might be a good record. Keep moving. These are invisibility frames up at the top. You're kind of seeing this secondary tier list right now. It's 4 Warframes. This should be a very obvious one. I have reasons to play Ivara. We'll start from the bottom this time. I have reasons to play Ivara and Loki, but they're not really normal gameplay. I'm not really going to pull them out in normal gameplay. The example that I will always give is if they show up in Deviri, I'm avoiding them. Unless they might not even show up in Deviri. And if they don't show up in Deviri, then that's all you need to know. But on the other hand, like there should be like a big gap between Loki and Ashe because Ashe and Octavia I will use. Ashe and Octavia are like offensive invisibility frames that are just like monsters. Like they're so fucking scary. Shout out me for following on TikTok. First of all, Octavia, you guys should know like your abilities just clear everything out. Shout out Live for the Ride for following on TikTok. Your abilities clear everything out. You don't do anything. You're invisible. All you do is crouch and you're invisible. That's it. There's like, it's so easy. That's all you really need to say. If you're ever scared, you're going to have this massive fucking 380% damage buff from your 4th ability. And that's going to just, you're going to use the Kuvazar or fucking, even one of the Incarnins. You could totally just map wipe with that shit. So it's just criminal, so good. I wanted to not talk about her in any of the tier lists because being invisible is like is a utility in and of itself that I have to separate from all the other ones because it serves a function that is so much drastically better than just being a normal Warframe. Like for the longest time, the way that I got all of the Kuva weapons was playing Loki and having Loki with the one that makes your guns silent. So I was both invisible and any gun I used was silent. So I just had the Kuva Shakur and I just shot the Lich in the head and it didn't know I existed. And I could just shoot it 50 times in the head and it couldn't do anything. And then, oh my God, it was so sad. And the thing is, you didn't even use Irradiating Disarm or the decoy either, because literally it was just like, oh my God. Oh. It was like game breaking. It was so funny. Ivara is the same way. I'll use her for spy missions. I put spy there. That might be like the dumbest thing. That might be like the dumbest thing I've ever put, but you guys can decide. And of course, Ashe, the one that I should talk about. Double buff. You're rocking a pretty low roar buff, but I was like, whatever. You're doing a strength duration build, so you might as well put roar on there. It's either roar or Mirage's ability, which I think I might end up putting on now that it's going to be toggle, because it's like if you have really low range, then you're probably not going to be able to give that buff to your teammates. So in the end, like the Mirage, so if you have like a max range or max duration build, then you're going to have really low range. So instead of using roar, which is not going to apply to your teammates, like if you don't have any type of other DPS ability that's going to get buffed by roar, then you end up using the other shit. Anyway, Ashe, the other buff is the crit chance buff that you get from the second ability, which is Smoke Shadow, I think it's called, and it gives you 150 crit chance just built in. It's pretty nice. Overall, it's just decent numbers, but yeah, I think that pretty much covers the invisibility. Now, I did want to talk a little bit about the honorable mentions as well. I think the reason that these guys didn't really end up on a list is because I have such very niche uses for them. Like, Nova is essentially the will you, won't you of Slova versus Speedva. Like, do you want to speed up farming by making enemies move faster with Speedva? Or are you actually struggling and you need to slow enemies down and also get that double damage so that you can actually handle them properly? And so it's like, depending on what you want, it's a little bit weird. Like, overall, Nova is just one of those weird frames where it's like, I use her very specifically, but when I do use her, she's absolutely necessary. But that's why, like, the honorable mentions, they're not really in a list. It's just there. And that's the same with like Banshee. Like Banshee, I put buff with an asterisk because it's like you are getting that like 10 times damage buff if you hit one of those sonar beacons. But I don't know. It just doesn't work as well as I want it to. It's a little bit more of like tactical. You do need a squad to kind of use it properly because then your whole squad can take advantage of it. And then when you use sonar or whatever the resonance or whatever the augment is for your sonar, then you're going to get like this really, really nice... You're going to cover them in that shit. It's just, you're going to cover them in that shit. But it just works really weird. I do have like Breach Surge because I found that she was pretty squishy. So it's like having that basic pacification and also those like big Breach Spark numbers, like pretty easy. Anyway, number 8, I mean, whatever. Limbo, last one to talk about. How does that work though? I don't get it how she can speed up enemies. You do get negative strength. So if you put on overextended, then your strength is going to go into the negative, and so that's actually going to it's going to reverse the ability. So in some abilities, you can actually reverse the effects, but Nova is like one of the only examples. The other example is Trinity with her energy vampire, where if you have a negative duration on energy vampire, then it procs more often, and you get more energy quicker. So it's like that's what I used when I was really starting off in ESO. But yeah, last on the list, Limbo. So weird. So strange. You have to keep your 4 active at all times, and it fucking sucks. You have to keep your 2 active, and it's half the duration. You are also pressing 3, but I always find that when you use Rift Torrent, which is what that buff is, you're going to flat damage buff, but it's so weird, and it ends up like putting so many strange enemies like in the Rift that you don't want them in, and your whole team is like, what are you doing? Like, even myself, when I'm using that shit, when I'm using Rift Torrent, I'm like, what am I doing? What is this? I'm like, what's going on? I'm like blown away at how weird this shit is. Anyway, let's keep moving. That's the whole list. Let's go through it real quick. We are at 7:18. That's all of the Warframe. So it did end up being 18 minutes. It's still about the same. We're going to move at high speeds, though. It's going to be pretty easy. They're all going to have exalted weapons, but I'm just going to show you the build and then move on from there. All right, Baruuk Prime, number 1 on the list. Here we go. Where are you? He's got to be somewhere. There he is. Okay. Baruuk Prime, obviously 2 strength shards, 2 health shards, and an energy shard. I've replaced his first ability with Empower, which is lazy, but it is the easy choice. Now, the main reason that I'm using Empower is so that I can get as much power strength as humanly possible, both for my 4 and for my 3, which is going to give me like infinite infinite little arrows. Shout out TZ Plays for following and also dropping a rose. Appreciate it. 269 strength is already insanely high. You're just really stacking as much strength as possible. I only have stretch for range. And then I did put on streamline, and I don't even care about duration, and we're going to talk about that in a second. He is functioning as a tank because of his third ability, so that gives him that 90% damage reduction, and then you're going to have 40% on top of that with your 4. So then you're going to free up an arcane slot to use Arcane Avenger, which is a little bit of double dipping. Like, you can also use Gladiator Might, but I find that just having Arcane Avenger is such an easy combo. It makes everything stronger. It makes all your weapons stronger, unless you're using the fucking Fenmore or the Latum, which you guys know that I hate. You've seen the build. Reactive Storm is mandatory. You have to have Reactive Storm pretty much. I mean, it just changes it. It turns it into the Revenant Dance Macabre style adaptation where your damage will actually like adapt to whatever you're looking at or whatever you're hitting. I think we should talk about the abilities now. Empower is going to work to give you like 25 charges and like a whole bunch of damage and status chance on your Serene Storm. And the negative duration actually allows you to get more of your gauge filled up. So your whole point is you're filling up your gauge with your 3 and your 2. So you're spamming your 2 pretty often, and then you're keeping your 3 at max stacks. I think it's only like 10 stacks if you want a 90% damage reduction. So it's kind of corny, but yeah, as much strength as possible. Couple weirdnesses in there, but yeah, let's just keep moving. Let's talk about Desert Wind. Really basic, double sacrificial, 187 on the crit chance. We're easily getting guaranteed red crits. I'm only rocking fire damage. And then I've got Gladiator Might. I've got all the classics. I've got double attack speed from Prime Fury and Quickening. And then, of course, I've got Condition Overload. I don't know if Condition Overload works. That might be something that I would have to look into, but I would hope that it works. I mean, it would suck if it doesn't, but there you go. Maybe Condition Overload doesn't work, and you guys can tell me in the comments. Anyway, let's move on. That's Baruuk. Number 2 on the list. We're doing pretty good. Mesa, let's do it. Here we go. Look at this. Double duration and double strength. These guys are, in fact, Tau Forge, which is incredible. Let's keep moving. We have Energize in there, of course. That's going to be the main thing because of her 95% damage reduction. You are noticing, a little bit sucky stats, 163 duration, 264 strength. So pretty nice strength, but still pretty low. Mesa's Waltz is mandatory as always. But yeah, the main thing is replacing your 1 with Roar. You have 100% range, so you could do it pretty easily. I needed a Dagoth girlfriend. Oh my god. Moro Faster. Nice. Love it. Shout out Moro Faster on TikTok. 264 strength is like all I could get, even with the Archon shards. I have double Archon shards to buff duration and strength, and the stats are still pretty low. But yeah, I've got Nearest Hatred in there for some bonus duration. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty standard build. Prime Flow, Arcane Energize, a match made in heaven, as always, folks. Let's look at the build, or let's look at the abilities. We're getting some decent numbers. 80% is pretty good on Roar. Shooting Gallery is going to be lower, of course, and it works really weird with your teammates. 95% is, of course, lovely and pretty easy to work with. And, of course, final thing to talk about. Let's move on. Let's come over here and go to Regulators. Let's do it. Big numbers, I hope. Yeah, there you go. 590 heat, 429 viral, because it is the classic pistol build. I have slowed it down a little bit with Creeping Bullseye, but I'm hitting 75% crit chance, which is pretty nice. I would love to have Arcane Avenger, but I can't do it. Okay, bro, ain't nobody that down bad. JK, I want Gyre. Okay, I'm glad I'm moving faster through this, but yeah, you're seeing it. It's a standard build. Crit chance, crit damage, both multi-shots. You've got viral. And then, of course, Prime Heated Charge to give us 590 heat. I love having heat damage on a pistol. I think Prime Heated Charge is just asking to be put on every pistol. It's a simple choice. It adds that nice... It's free armor strip. It's just too nice, folks. It's way too nice. But I think we can just keep on moving. That's basically all you want to talk about with Mesa, and we are at 724. We're going to Excalibur, number 3 on the list. Keeping it moving. All I have is an energy shard. That's pretty much all he needs. I've replaced his first ability with a Breach Surge. So I do have a discrepancy. I have a double dip. I have Radial Howl and I have Breach Surge. So these are 2 different blind ability, so I'm wasting Radial Howl. But Radial Howl also strips the sentient resistances, so it's still kind of cool, but definitely a waste. So keep that in mind if you're going to get into this build. I ended up being like, Breach Surge is still the best choice for me. I still love it the most. Pretty interesting stats overall. You are going to notice some pretty weird oddities here, but you're also just going to notice some pretty basic shit. Triple Umbra, of course. I do also use Carnus Carapace to get me to 1,000 health and 1,000 armor, but that is kind of a waste because you're not getting like a strength or another bonus. But I just, I hate Amar's Hatred because I do hate teleporting. I do not like teleporting when I melee heavy attack. I don't like doing it. I'm going to be honest, folks. Chromatic Blade, essentially mandatory. You want to be using fire damage, ideally, so you can get that free built-in fire damage. Because you do want to outclass Viral overall if you can. 45% range is pretty much all you need. And then I'm getting like a decent amount of power strength. I mean, 192. I'm not really needing a whole ton of it because you're still getting nice numbers. Yeah, let's just talk about the numbers. Chromatic Blade, bonus status chance, and it's going to convert it to elemental only. So you're basically just going to have fire and viral, and that's it. And that's pretty savage. Radial Javelin is pretty good, but not super good. It's a built-in slash proc, I think. So it's kind of nice to be like spamming Exalted Blade and Breach Surge and then also doing Radial Javelin. But of course, yeah, Breach Surge. I mean, getting the 3.8 multiplier is whatever, but yeah, whatever. Let me hold 200 plat. Let you hold it. You're going to hold on to it for a while. That's genius strats right there. Anyway, yeah, it's actually really basic stats. 155 duration, 45% range, and 92% strength. Anyway, let's keep moving. Exalted Blade, looking nice, looking cool. Big numbers, of course. Look at this. I mean, what you're really talking about is you can max out the stats. I have Prime Fever Strike, I have Molten Impact, I have Volcanic Edge, and I have Fire Damage as the innate stat. So what you're looking at is 3,000 fire damage and 2,600 viral damage. And that's like per tick. Do you have a Varuna? Yeah, I have Varuna. I didn't really think of her. Varuna I actually debated putting on this list. This is a pretty standard build though. I mean, it's just Condition Overload, melee, weapon. Pretty standard. Shout out Ricardo Diaz for following on TikTok. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's just max out on damage. That's pretty much it. Anyway, moving on. Let's keep moving. I guess what I would say is, like, I didn't think of Varuna as a Exalted Warframe. Like, she's close. She kind of is very similar, but not in the same way. Anyway, let's talk about Sevagoth, the one you dump fucking 85 Forma into when you're fully done with him. Oh my god. It's just a meme at this point. Anyway, what do I have in here? A single energy shard. And, of course, the most controversial take... Replacing Breach Surge his 3, or replacing Gloom his 3 with Breach Surge, which might be a little crazy. The other interesting thing is that this shoulder piece cannot be colored. The color of it doesn't change. It's always blue. So I had to change him to be all blue to actually match. And I had to do the same for this guy to actually make the colors match. Otherwise, it was like the whole thing was red and then this little cape was blue. So I was like, fuck. He's also a frame that I'll have to make blue, but it is pretty sick. I love the... I don't know why I did the double wings. I think he was a little bit lackluster. He's too skinny, so I added a bunch of mass to his sides. Anyway, I'm getting really distracted. This is maybe the first time, because his fashion is so cool. I love the Glaucus skin. Anyway, let's keep moving. What are we talking about? What we're really talking about is Shadow Haze is like a secret hack. I fucking love Shadow Haze. I might have time for a Zaku build after all this. Yeah, let's see. Shadow Haze is really useful. We'll talk about it in a second. It's a little bit complicated. But yeah, it's just a lot of strength, a decent amount of range. We're just rocking Stretch and Augur Reach for range. And then 128 duration. We don't have a lot, but we don't really need a lot. I am doing the 1 point less on the Power Drift, which is whatever at that point. But yeah, let's just kind of sit here for a while. I think the important thing is to talk about Shadow Haze. It's a little bit weird, so we'll talk about that one separately. I'm trying to get Zaku, but I'm struggling. Yeah, I mean... Oh my god, we had a beautiful face follow me on TikTok. That's an amazing ASCII. Yeah, Zaku is a little rough. I mean, Demos is a little rough in general. Anyway, let's talk about the abilities. You've seen the build for long enough. Steel Charge is interesting. As you can see, I do have Arcane Guardian and Arcane Grace, so that does qualify him as someone that is a little bit squishy and needs some support. You know, 160 armor is not enough to like really do anything with, so keep that in mind. what you're really talking about is spamming all of your abilities at all times. And let's talk about Shatter Heist. So the basic gist of it is you're going to get bonus crit chance and you're going to get triple shadows. So you're going to multiply your shadows every time they hit something or every time they kill something. And you're going to get 111% crit chance and 111% damage vulnerability. So it's a lot of damage. That's why I just put it as a DPS, because it's like it's a crit chance buff and a damage buff at the same time, but you're basically going to delete everything. What about Limbo? Would you show a defense Limbo? Yeah, I'm doing Limbo, funny enough. Limbo is an honorable mention, so I am going to be reviewing him. I should have time for him. But yeah, it's just big numbers. 111 is decent with 222 strength, so keep that in mind. It's a short duration, but you're going to be spamming this all the time. Same with So. You want to keep this active at all times. And then, of course, Breach Surge is going to maximize all that shit and really just make it too crazy. So definitely keep that in your back pocket at all times. And then, of course, this guy is your mainstay. Your Exalted Shadow, which we will get into in a little bit. And that's why you're using Steel Charge, because you want to max out that Exalted Shadow, because you're really leaning into that shit. And speaking of leaning into that shit, another set of Steel Charge. Oh my god, so good. Shout out, is that a Kanji character? Shout out them for following. Thank God, subscribe. Yo, but I gotta go though, so I just came show some support. Yeah, dude, shout out. Dude, shout out Up Arrow. Yeah. I've got all the videos on YouTube if you want to watch. Anyway, what are we talking about? Like, the Shadow is insane. You're just tanking damage. Tanking with Hunter's Adrenaline. You're just maxing out on damage with this. His pull ability is really nice at 75% range. It's pretty decent. He has the damage vulnerability, but it's just in a little circle. Hey, you're the guy that Steinax Labs told about Nidus Larva. Yeah. Wait, yeah. That's Pilbury. Shout out Pilbury. I guess a return viewer on TikTok. That's pretty cool to see. Anyway, I got to keep it moving. I got to not get distracted here. It's pretty low numbers overall. 194 strength. You don't really need to max it out. But let's look at the stats. Let's just get right into it, folks. Your pull ability has 35 meters. That's really, really nice. It's perfect for you to just spam that shit. Spam it like crazy. Second ability is your heal ability. 48% lifesteal is pretty savage. Third ability is going to give you 90% damage vulnerability, which is okay. It's some good numbers. It's kind of in the range of what you hope for, but the whole point is you're just going to be spamming with... What are you going to be spamming with, folks? Of course, the claws. So much Forma. 8 Forma on this thing. It's a monster. It's a beast. I've got Dreamer's Wrath on there. Of course I've got Dreamer's Wrath. Why? Because I actually use the heavy attack on this shit, because it's actually savage. Here we go. Let's do it. 120% crit chance, or yeah, that's it, because we only have mod points for Sacrificial Steel, which does kind of suck. When Sevagoth Prime comes out, there is going to be an Umbra Forma on this, probably, to do double Umbra to get the biggest numbers possible, because that is going to be absolutely savage. But yeah, what are you really talking about? You've got 778 on the slash and of course 1600 on viral. So it's still a lot of viral, but of course you can kind of reduce the viral and still work fine. 49% status is still pretty low, but yeah, I love Dreamer's Wrath. It's a very fun build on this guy. It is pretty low attack speed overall because you are only rocking Prime Reach. So it's pretty tight build. You do have a 4.5 meter range, so keep that in mind. Pretty fun. But that's number 4 on the list. Sevagoth. Let's talk about number 5 on the list. We are at, what are we at? 733. Pretty good on time. I mean, I'm kind of losing track at this point. Titania, here we go. We've got a Tau Forged Energy Shard because of Roar. And then, of course, we've got an Energy Maximum Shard. It's going to be pretty perfect. What you're really talking about when you're getting into this is Ironclad Flight is going to incentivize you to be in your Exalted Arcwing at all times. Roar you can cast while you're in Arcwing, which is really nice. And of course Lantern is going to be your mainstay for the actual like CC. I do have Nero's Hatred in here to kind of balance out Transient Fortitude because I want to get like at least 200% strength. It kind of sucks to have low strength on Roar because it just doesn't work as well as you want it to. What you're really talking about is I mean, I guess what I would say is you've got pretty base. I feel like having high range is weird when you also want to have high strength. So it's like it might be actually a good idea to put double strength shards on Titania, which would be a pretty savage choice, but that would be one other thing that I would do to this build. But yeah, I think we should just get right into it with the actual stats. 63, as you can see, 63 on roar is pretty low. Tribute, the only one I'm going to use is the damage reduction. Third ability, attract radius, is the main one, 35 meters. And I'm going to get some water. But of course, then the fourth ability is your Razor Wing, and that is the actual moneymaker. That's the actual Exalted ability. It's pretty fun. I love it. I have so much fun with it. Anyway, let me get some water, and we'll talk about the actual stats. Here we go. I don't know. What do you guys think? Did I go too greedy on the fire damage and the slash damage? I think it's pretty savage build. Of course, pretty low crit chance, so I just maximize status. 2,000 slash, 2,200 heat, 1,600 viral. I mean, the numbers are there, folks. It's a status only build, but you are also rocking roar, which is something to keep in mind as always. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all we need to talk about. I mean, 17,000 damage with a 2.8 multi-shot. So you divide 17,000 by about 3, maybe a little bit less. So what's 18 by 3? So it's about 6,000 damage a pellet. Let's say maybe 5,800. Where are the galvanized mods at? You can't use galvanized mods on exalted weapons. At least I don't think you can use it on exalted weapons. I don't use them normally. I don't even know if I have exalted or galvanized barrel diffusion because I only use amalgam barrel diffusion so I can roll faster, which is another pretty savage choice that I always make. Anyway, Diwata is whatever. I'll show it for 1 second. It is fire damage. That's it. It's fire damage as the main, other damage bonus, I guess is what you would call it. You get bonus crit chance from puncture, which is whatever. But yeah, I don't use Diwata. I use the gun, and that's it. Let's move on. That's number 5 on the list, Titania. Number 6 on the list is Valkyr. Valkyr is going to be pretty high because, of course, she has Ensnare in the first slot because she has 90% range. We've got 2 duration shards and an energy shard. Let's get right into it. I'm literally not using her third ability. I'm only using Warcry, Ensnare, and her fourth ability. You're going to notice Hunter Adrenaline and Streamline. With builds like these, I'm like kind of pensive about what even to put on it sometimes. So Streamline is an easy choice to just make it easier. Oh, my fault. Didn't even notice it was Titania. Dude, easy clap. No, I don't even use galvanized mods on normal pistols because I just like rolling faster, which is, for a lot of people, that's like Dumbo hours, like Dumbo moment. Anyway, keep it moving. What are we really talking about? Valkyr doesn't die. You get like a bunch of extra armor, so you have built-in 735 armor, which is fucking insane on Valkyr Prime. And so you get like what, 80% bonus armor off of that. We'll have to see, but let's just look at the numbers in a second. I mean, you can see the main thing is 90% range and bonus efficiency and, the bonus duration from the duration Archon shard. So let's talk about it. Look at that. 77% armor. God damn. That's a lot of armor. That's a lot of armor, folks. Ensnare is the easy choice. It's, when a frame doesn't have a lot going for them, I always just put a CC ability on it. Like I did that for Equinox too. When I was using them in the Steel Path, I could never figure out a good build for them, and I was just like, oh my god. And of course, fourth ability is the main one we'll talk about, Hysteria. That's the whole point. 100 Adrenaline, you take damage, get energy, go over to these bad boys, the Talons, and get some big numbers. And where are you going to get those big numbers from? Of course, from the double sacrificial and the primed reach plus Carnus Mandible combo. You're getting 4.7 on the range with 582 slash. So you're slashing it up. You're running around like crazy. I do have a feeling that I might... Oh my god, it's impossible to put. I would have to put another... Oh, that's dirty. I would have to make both of these mods be rank 6. And then I could put a Tennokai mod in, and then I could use Tennokai on Valkyr. And that would be an 8 Forma build. So if you want to be a savage, if you want to be a fucking monster, you put that last Forma in. You get the Exilus thing. You put these to rank 6. Unless you want to put in another Umbra Forma, which is just dumb. Just stupid. Do not recommend that. Also, Amalgam Organ Shatter would be good in that situation, but I don't think you need that. I don't think you need that. You just spam the normal attack and you just kill everything. Anyway, that's number 6 on the list. Valkyr. You pretty much get it. Take damage, activate your 4, heal, deactivate, take damage, blah, 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 blah. Keep ensnare active at all times. Number 7 on the list. Hildryn. A frame that I don't use the Exalted weapon, but I also don't really need to get rid of it because it's not really a wasted mod slot, or ability slot. I do have double health shards, so I am rocking 1100 health, which is pretty decent. And of course, the ability that I've replaced with Helminth is her 4th ability, which is going to give me some nice Breach Surge combos. Shout out Vincent Williams for dropping some likes. We're at 500 likes. Gotta love it. Oh my god, 8 new followers. Jesus Christ. 8 new followers at 40 minutes. Dude, that's insanity. Holy shit. Anyway, keep it moving. Hildryn, let's talk about it. Number 4 on the list, or 4th ability, Jesus Christ. Number 7 on the list, Hildryn. Main thing to talk about, Blazing Pillage is essentially mandatory. We've got 70% strength, not very high. We've got 45% range, not very high. Boreal's Hatred, Fast Deflection, Primed Redirection, those are mandatory. Adaptation is also pretty much mandatory. It's fucking savage. Oh my girl Hildy, shout out Vincent, as always. Gotta love it. We do have double Umbra, which is pretty fun. So in the instance that you do lose all your shields, you can survive for a second. And that's your instance to go into Operator and figure yourself out. Sleep everything, do whatever you need. The other thing to keep in mind is you've got a lot of really nice damage abilities. Mainly your 2 and your 4, as long as you have the Blazing Pillage augment, which we are going to get into right now. Here we go. Blazing Pillage is going to give you free fire damage whenever you cast Pillage on something, which is Pillage is an 11-meter range, not very big. You're going to add that with Breach Surge. The main thing is you need to be casting these pretty often because Breach Surge has some weird combos with Pillage. Like, it kind of depends on which one you activate first. And then, of course, Haven you're going to keep active at all times. But the main thing is, like, Pillage is one of those abilities that you need to keep active at all times. Like, as soon as the duration is up, let the duration expire, let it do the full duration, and then just cast it again. It is something that you're going to be casting the entire game. Shout out Padasawa. Is that how you would say that? Shout out Padasawa for following. But yeah, you're going to get a fuck ton of fire damage. You're going to amplify that with Breach Surge, which is my lazy man's DPS boost. And of course, Haven, the classic that you got to keep active at all times. Balefire, never going to use, but we are going to talk about the stats. Let's get right into it with the Balefire Charger. Here we go. Fuck ton of damage. 51,000 damage with a... oh, is there not an AoE on this? It does not tell me the AoE. Oh, the AoE is over here. If I look at this, it'll tell me. Explosion radius is 4.35 meters. So it's got a 4.35 meter AoE with 51,000 damage, all status, 5% crit chance. So what we're really talking about is... I also did mention that I think I had Arcane Avenger in there along with Arcane Aegis, which is pretty good. There's more than 66,000 people in Warframe, and yet no one wants to buy Prime Junk. Dude, I feel it. But look at this, dude. 9,000 heat, 9,000 corrosive. Still dead even on both stats, even with Scorch and Primed Heat Charge. Like, it's so insane. The numbers are fucked. The multi-shot is 2.8, so we divide 51,000 by basically 3. And we're talking... God, what are we talking? Probably about 19,000 maybe? Occucore OP with Hydroid, I would agree. Well, at least with my Hydroid build, it would be. I don't know about everyone's Hydroid build. Anyway, that's it for those builds. Let's talk about number 8 on the list, Wukong. We are at 743, and we've still got a bunch of Warframes to do the builds for, so we got to move a little bit quicker. I'm pretty much only going to talk about the builds for the Invisibility Frames. I don't think I'll have time to play them. Wukong, here we go. Wukong. Very basic. You need this perfect energy combo. You need 1 Tau Forged blue for energy and then 1 normal blue for energy. And that's going to get you to 320 energy, which is mandatory for Roar in case you have an energy reduction effect on a sortie. Molt Vigor, Arcane Avenger. I have healing and I have armor built in, so I don't need anything from that, which is pretty good. Can you change the Neon Wings colors? Wait, what? Which one are you talking about? No, the neon wings are always pink. The one in the back, yeah, they're always pink. I've replaced his 4th ability, his Exalted Weapon, with Roar. I don't even use it. But yeah, I'm maxing out on strength and I'm maxing out on duration. You'll notice that this might be a good time to actually use Mirage's damage ability because, of course, he has negative range. So that might be a change that I'm going to be making soon. But yeah, keep that in mind, folks. I guess what we're really talking about is you're just kind of running around like a madman. You're having a lot of fun. I guess it'll be interesting to see how much damage Mirage's ability will actually have in the end of it. Was about to say that about Mirage. That Mirage has low range. Interesting. I don't know. Well, I guess the reason that I have Roar on Mirage is because her 4th ability actually benefits from Roar more than it does from her normal ability. I guess I should talk about the abilities. It's good to have 74% on Roar. That's good to have a high number. Celestial Twin. Stats don't really matter. You're going to want to use a special weapon with your twin, or else it's going to work pretty weird. And then, of course, Cloudwalker, stats don't matter. Defy, stats don't matter. I've got 62 seconds on the duration, which is really, really nice. That's really good. So max out on duration, max out on strength. Nothing else matters. Literally nothing else matters. Of course, Iron Staff Prime, good to talk about it. Don't really use it. We've got 1200 impact, 500 slash, and 2100 viral. So we're basically never going to proc slash. It does suck. None of the combos have slash, at least from what I've seen. No, nope, nothing. So yeah, I'm not really going to use it. It's just a basic, double sacrificial plus, reach and prime fury. It is pretty fast, so keep that in mind, but not super crazy. You might end up putting something like fire on here, but you don't even have the stats to put fire on here. So it sucks. Don't like it. Moving on. Let's talk about Octavia. As you can see, the 5th most used Warframe in my usage list, so puts her on top. I've replaced none of her abilities. She is perfect as an invisibility frame. She's perfect as a DPS invisibility. She's a fucking monster. We've got 2 ability duration shards, and let's get right into it. We've got some really nice stats to work with. 199 duration. Maxing out duration is going to be really important, but you do also need a really good stat spread to play her properly. So you are rocking 75% range and 68% strength. The main thing is you're just keeping all of your abilities active. They're all duration-based abilities. Your 1 and your 2 are the same duration, so activate those at the same time. Your 3 is essential because that's going to give you your invisibility. That's going to give you your damage bonuses depending on what you're doing. And, of course, your 4 is going to be the longest duration, but it is an area of effect, so you have to stay in that area permanently. And then that's also going to buff all your abilities. Let's talk about it. Mallet and Resonator stats don't matter. It scales really, really well. Activate these 2, they'll latch together, they'll roll around, kill everything. Metronome stats are whatever. Also, you also get an armor increase, which is insane when you think of her as like a truly offensive invisibility frame. And then, of course, Amp, getting 3.35 damage. That's like 300% damage bonus. That's pretty good. And you're just running around like crazy. You do need Arcane Energize. You do need Arcane Grace. But it's just a classic build. It's so much fun. Just run around like crazy. Be a madman. Do exactly what you want to do. Ashe, let's talk about it. I do have a feeling that my Loki build might change. But Ashe is a fun one to talk about. Ashe is also pretty high on the list. We've got 2 duration shards and 2 strength shards. Let's talk about it. We've replaced the first ability with Roar. And yeah, this would be a good situation to use Mirage's ability because I have negative range instead of Roar. But yeah, let's talk about it. I've got Fatal Teleport. I've got Smoke Shadow. Fatal Teleport is perfect for dealing with heavy units. Yeah, I'm going to play in probably, like 10 minutes. Narrow-Minded is at pretty decent numbers. I do have a feeling that the primary tier list is going to be pretty long as well. Anyway, Narrow-Minded, you're maxing out duration, maxing out strength. That's basically it. Smoke Shadow, Fatal Teleport, essential, pretty much essential. Let's just look at the abilities real quick. Roar, pretty low numbers, 64%, pretty low. Smokescreen, 150 crit chance with a 20-second duration. That's pretty nice. Teleport, the numbers don't matter. You're going to kill anything. And Bladestorm, I'm not really going to use Bladestorm. You do need Arcane Energize because he is an invisibility frame, and you are spamming your abilities pretty often. Let's real quick do Loki, and then also Ivara. Here we go. Let's look at Loki. I've replaced his 1 with Rest and Rage, because it's going to be another better sleep. You get a really nice sleep ability. That's it. So you can sleep anything in a 200-meter radius. The only thing that you need is Hushed Invisibility and Irradiating Disarm, and then you're maxing out duration and range, and you don't care about strength. I do have Energy Siphon, and Arcane Doubleback is weird because it's going to give you a little bit of survivability, which is pretty nice. Numbers, 26 seconds on Invisibility, 41 meters on Disarm is insane, 20 seconds on Irradiating Disarm is nice, and then of course you can also sleep enemies if you're scared, and that's a 10-meter range. Anyway, let's just move on. Ivara, real quick. I only ever use Ivara for spy missions. I don't even know where she is. She's down here. Here we go. I've replaced her second ability with Rest, and of course, nothing has been touched. Here we go. This is my standard build for the most part. I don't really use anything else. It's got 144 on the strength. It's got pretty basic stats. I have 90% range, which is pretty nice. Infiltrate is mandatory. You move faster. That's about all you need to say. Efficiency, 145 efficiency is pretty nice. You're getting that from Boreal's Hatred and Streamline. And then, of course, the standardized 55% duration. Let's look at the stats. You do have a sleep arrow. I like this one more because you can spam it at a 9.5 meter radius, which is pretty good. Prowl, 36% bonus speed is pretty nice. And, of course, the bow. I love the wide shot. It's super nice. But that's pretty much it. Oh my god, I almost forgot to put her on the list. But yeah, she also has an exalted weapon. Here we go. The bow is nice. Galvanized chamber. It's a classic primary build. You have 75% crit chance. It just works so well. You got big numbers. There you go. There's some fun stats. Fun oversight by my part that I actually forgot to mention Ivara. But she is an invisibility frame, so I was going to talk about her eventually. There you go. Those are the numbers. We got 3 frames left. It's 7:51. We're kind of right on the money. I was hoping to expect this. Nova has 2 different builds. Both of them are going to benefit from 20% bonus duration from red Archon shards, and both of them are going to love Firewalker as well, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Her 4th ability, the range, actually scales with duration. So I have maxed out duration, 298%. 55% strength is all that I really need. And that comes from double Umbra. And then, of course, I've got Prime Flow and Arcane Energize. Molecular Fission is also pretty much mandatory. I do also have Speed Drift in there, which is fun. It's fun to run fast. It's fun to also have Firewalker. I love that. Yeah, Hyper Proxy. I mean, I'm almost done with the builds. It is how many frames? 8, 12, 15 frames. So we're almost done here. We're at 13 out of 15. So we're still cruising pretty quick, but you guys are right. The main thing is this guy is going to give you 75% slowdown and also double damage and also infinite uses of Null Star. I'm not really going to use Wormhole, and then also Firewalker is just really, really fun. That's Slova. You've got 75% slow. The only difference between Slova and Speedva is that you have to manage your range. So you have positive range, which does suck. And then you also have a little bit different duration stats. So overall, the main thing is you have negative 30% speed. So they move 30% faster, just a little bit faster. That's really the only change is I've swapped Overextended for Augur Message. Wait, what did I swap it for? Yeah, I swapped it for Augur Message. Oh, because I swapped it for Umbral Intensify. There you go. And then I put in Constitution. Okay, there you go. That's the difference. So that's why I don't put her on a normal list, because she's very weird. That's Nova. Let's talk about Banshee. 2 health shards, 1 energy shard. I've replaced her first ability with Breach Surge. And then, of course, Sonar is the main ability that I'm going to be using. And that's the main reason why I put her pretty low on the list, because she's kind of lame. I don't really like her very much. Resonance is essentially mandatory when you're talking about using Sonar. But the main thing is I've got pretty balanced stats, 60% range, 79 strength. I mean, it's pretty even overall. Duration is nice and high. You want to have high duration. I am rocking Nearest Hatred, which is pretty nice. Anyway, let's talk about the stats. Resonance is, like I said, mandatory. It's going to make your second ability just move really, really fast. It's going to cast it over and over and over again. I am using Arcane Guardian because she is squishy alongside Breach Surge, which is pretty nice. Here we go. Let's talk about it. Breach Surge numbers don't really matter. Sonar, you're getting 8.95. It's going to be about 10 maybe after growing power. And Silence is also pretty nice. It kind of pacifies enemies. It's pretty useful. But yeah, pretty boring overall. Not really very interesting. It's nice to have sonar. You can spam it with resonance and it'll activate insanely frequently. It's so useful. Anyway, we're done. This is the last one on the list. Limbo. Here we go. Limbo has nothing. Limbo only has Breach Surge replaced in his 1 slot. But what you're really talking about is you're using Arcane Energize and Arcane Doubleback because you're just either in the Rift or having max Doubleback. D4C says, I have a question. Go for it, D4C. We have 250% range, 65% strength, 79 on the duration. Having high duration is essential. Rift Torrent is really useful. But it is kooky. It is weird. I do not recommend Limbo to anyone. I recommend them to no one. No one should be playing Limbo unless you absolutely want to. You have to love Limbo more than anything else, okay? It's a very simple choice. Breach Surge is going to work alongside Rift Surge, which is a fun little naming thing. You're going to get about 300% damage when you're fully maxed out on the Rift Torrent buff. Cataclysm with a 40-meter range is basically all you really want. You want high duration because you're going to have to be recasting this to actually keep enemies inside the Rift. The other thing is Stasis has half the duration. Breach Surge works pretty well on both enemies inside and outside the Rift, but it is very, very strange. He is very strange. I do not recommend him. And that's it, folks. Done with the builds. We're going to move a little bit quicker because it's time to actually play the Warframes. Are you guys excited? Have you been waiting? I hope you guys have been nice and patient because we're actually playing games. We're playing Warframe at 7:56, an hour into the video. But guess what? That's 15 Warframe builds in a pretty decent chunk of time. So I'm impressed with that overall. I always want to do like about an hour so people can literally just skip through with the time codes. Like, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to finish this stream. I'm going to finish this stream, folks. I am going to open the YouTube video. I have not doxed anybody this video, so I can just leave it as a stream. I'm not stupid. I didn't make a dumb mistake. So guess what? This video is just going to sit. I'm going to put some nice time codes. You guys can go to the YouTube chat. This is a good time to say... this is a good time to say if you're watching on TikTok and you're having a good time, you know, I'd really appreciate heading over to the YouTube, dropping a follow, dropping a subscribe, checking out some of the old Warframe videos. Now that the audio is actually good quality and the sample rate is set up properly, I've got every class to go over. I think tank was awful. I think the tank class did poor. I don't know. It might sound kind of doo-doo, but most of the tank Warframes ended up on other tier lists, except for maybe like Gara. I think Gara didn't end up on another tier list. But yeah, what are we really talking about, folks? We're talking about Baruuk here. We're not talking about anything else. I'm going to do some goofy numbers right now, like goofy goober numbers. 32. Oh my god. Look at that. Oh, and I didn't even have Empower active. Wait a minute. Stupid ass. Wait, I'm dumb. One other thing. Click this. Get him to the black and white man. Get a nice buff, and then of course press 3. 36. Okay, we're gonna get this going, and then all that we're really doing is we're gonna spam lull, and then as soon as that duration is up, we're gonna spam it again, and then as soon as that duration is up, we're gonna spam it again. And you're seeing that we are just melting. We are just melting the gauge. Spam it again. And the gauge is empty. Okay, here we go. Now is when the game begins for real, folks. I'm going to cast the bubble. We are going to max out on power strength. I'm hitting Empower. We are going to max out on power strength, and then we are going to cast 4, and we are going to keep this active the entire game. And that is the only goal, folks. We are going to be spamming lull at all times. We are going to be keeping max stacks on my 3. But now that I have all this shit going, I don't really need maximum charges on my 3. I just need about 20 or 25. And this is where you really get into the gameplay. And this is why Baruuk is just monster on top of monster. Like, you just have Arcane Avenger active at all times, and you're just running around like a fucking madman. You're just cruising and bruising. It's just so good. The thing to master is really the combo of keeping lull active at all times, because you really want that gauge to be empty all the time. And all that takes is like allowing the gauge to fill up a little bit. You know, a lull is kind of wasted when the gauge is not within the first quarter or so, but you want to keep it in that first quarter. And that's the basic gist of it. What you're really seeing is, like, folks, it's not really that crazy. What you're really talking about is just running around at full speed. Once you have the max little arrows, then all your teammates are going to have it as well. Everybody in the squad's going to have it. You're just going to be running around like a madman. It's going to be fucking comical. I'm going to get to like 18 arrows and I'm going to recast it and I'm going to have 35 again, and it's just absolutely comical. It's just hilarious. And then guess what? You can just keep rolling around. And then maybe if you're looking a little bit silly, then you can do the other combo, which is the standing blocking combo, which is going to actually pull enemies toward you. But I always just prefer the forward combo and the slide attack, because the slide attack is really just going to nuke shit. It's going to one-shot pretty much everything. And if he doesn't one-shot, then you do it twice or something, and then everything dies after that. So, you know, it's the easiest 5 minutes of your life. Like, if I'm being honest, folks, you're seeing, like, I'm clearing enemies out all the way back to spawn because I'm just being way too aggressive right now. It's just comical how simple it is to play with Baruuk. You're lifting enemies, and then as soon as they're lifted, they're just getting instantly deleted, and it's fucking comical. Look at this, folks. There's not even like really any gameplay. And that's why it's like, when it's on other tier lists, I'm like a little bit, you know, judging him differently, because it's like, oh, that's Malice. Okay, look at this. I'm going to see if I can fucking delete Malice real quick. Oh, that was some big numbers. Come on, I need to nail it. Come on. There you go. That's better. Look at that. That's how you delete an Acolyte. We're literally in the spawn room right now because there's just nothing alive. This is fucking comical. We're at 801. We're cruising and bruising. I might also talk about, like, Octavia. I might do the top 5 Exalted Frames and then do Octavia as well. Who knows? Maybe I'll only do the top 4 because there's only 8 of them. I mean, that would kind of make sense. Maybe I do Octavia as the last one. Interesting. I guess we'll see how fast it goes because we're already basically done with this mission. And it is only 801, but what I do need to do is do this and then recast this. It is only 27, but 27 is still 27. 27 is fucking hilarious. And that's the thing, is if you ever fuck up with Baruuk, just roll out of it. Look at that. Too easy. Keep on moving. Keep on moving. Look at this. Oh my god. Oh my. I mean, it just... You're moving like way too fast. Honestly, it's hard to tell what's going on sometimes when you're playing Baruuk, but it's because you don't really even need to know what's going on. You can pretty much just run around like a madman. Oh, is this why the enemies have been in the spawn room? Because we did actually have a shitty spawn. Like, we had a reverse where there's 2 arenas on either side of the spawn room. Look at these fucking numbers. Oh, I need to kill this guy. That one's dead. This one I need to clear out. Let's do this. Oh, I can actually lift him. That's pretty awesome. Is he dead? Did he die? I think he... Wait. Yeah, he's dead. I just killed him. I just lifted him so long he just died. Oh, that's sick. Okay, let's move. We're out of here. It's 8:02. Yeah, we might actually have time to do the top 5 Exalted Warframes and then also do Octavia as well. That would be pretty nice. Might love it. Okay, keep it moving. Call the Acolytes the Stalker Fan Club. Yeah, they are. They're like way more edgy. They're like way more corny too. Like they're all like, oh, malice and violence and mania. I'm a maniac. Like, have you ever met someone that called themselves a maniac? Not really. I haven't, but you know, stay tuned, folks. That's all I can really say. I guess all you're really talking about is you're just having fun. Like, you're just cruising. You saw it. It was insane. I was like, I literally wasn't even doing anything. I was just holding down melee and just wiping, just clearing out the entire map. It was so fucking easy. Anyway, number 2 on the list. Let's keep it moving at full speed. I'm not thinking about slacking at all. We're going to be spamming the Icarius like a madman right now. We're going to be absolutely going buck wild because part of Mesa's kit is that you're actually still using your weapons. Like, it's actually still nice to use your weapons because then you're going to get some decent buffs. Like, you're actually going to be cruising around with a really strong Icarius that's good at clearing out a bunch of shit, and it's like really fun, and you're like, oh my god, this is pretty classic. I'm having a lot of fun, gotta say. Anyway, keep it moving.
The Oricon Neural Sentry is attempting to purge you from
Pray
its
for a good
place.
spawn. That's all I can
Stand
say,
by for
folks.
life
Pray for
support.
a good spawn. Keep it moving. Full speed ahead. This is exactly what you want to see. I mean, this is my favorite part is the
If you have a
test. Because,
necromech,
oh
this
my
would be
god.
an
Oh, I
excellent
do want to
place
say,
play it.
for everybody in chat, there is a very special video going up on Sunday, both for TikTok and for YouTube. But they're two different videos. So on TikTok, I have my last TikTok going up. The last TikTok I will be doing on TikTok for a long time. So for the next long while, the only time you're going to see a video of me on TikTok is just me saying, hey, there's a stream tomorrow. I'll post a video saying, I'll do a little story on Tuesday that says, hey, I'm streaming tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, I'll do another story that also says, hey, I'm streaming tonight, 7 p.m. PST. And then you guys can come join. I'm thinking that I might start adding that as a live event that happens every Wednesday, so you guys know when it happens and you can come in and stop on. Because from that point on, that's the main thing that I'm going to be doing. What you might notice is that I might also be thinking about, like, you know, depending on how quickly this YouTube thing works out. The basic gist of it is, like, right now I am at 400. I'm at 394 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm at like 1,900 watch hours out of 3,000. So 390 out of 500 and 1,900 out of 3,000. So my goal right now on YouTube is I'm kind of putting a lot of focus right now into getting that, you know, first level partnership on YouTube so that I can start getting memberships going on YouTube. I can start getting tips going on YouTube. And then from then on out, you might be seeing more streams on TikTok. You might be seeing some different content because I might be shifting a little bit to kind of incentivizing people to stop by and have fun and join the stream. And, you know, basically, I've already said it to the guys on Discord, but once I hit 500, like, we're going to start doing like some different content on YouTube. And that means things like doing more of the speedrunning the new war. That's one of the main things, is doing speedrunning the new war again. We might be doing some other type of content, like we'll do type of weekly content where we show up and we do, you know, Archon hunts. We're doing the Archimedean holds, I think they're called, which is like the sortie 2.0, like the Giga sortie that's like insanely difficult. It's also been 2.5 minutes and I haven't used this ability once, so let's use this. I think the main gist of what you're talking about with Mesa is that you're kind of keeping this ability active and then deactivate it at all times. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening on the channel right now. I do want to say the video going up on YouTube on Sunday is going to be Revenant Prime. So I'm doing all the Warframe builds based on usage. So, you know, like Revenant Prime, obviously if you look at the 2023 usage stats, Revenant Prime is the most used Warframe of 2023. So we're going to do him. You know, when Inaros Prime gets reworked, we're going to do him. When Dante comes out, we're going to do him. I'm working on a new format, which is more of like an 8-minute plus format. Is there a reason you don't use your 4? No, I just forgot. I just got distracted. But yeah, you're seeing that when I am using my 4, I'm using it pretty sparingly. Like, I'm kind of only using it when I have a good line on a bunch of enemies that I can clear out all at once. And then once they're gone, then I can deactivate it and activate to a different group of enemies, excuse me. And then once it's kind of in this tighter cone, then you're just turning and moving on to another group. But yeah, you can see it's pretty energy efficient, or pretty energy intensive. And I am getting spammed by the fucking energy Leech Eximus, which does suck. But yeah, the other thing is, like, the part of the reason that I'm not using my abilities all the time is because what I have access to is 2 different weapon buffs, which means that I can kind of rock and roll and do whatever I want. We're going to come over here and do this. Yeah, as you can see, you're kind of posting up, moving a little bit, but yeah, you're clearing out enough enemies. Of course, we get Malice for a second time in a row. Let's see if we can clear him out with some decent numbers. Come on. Targeting the wrong enemy. There you go, there's some numbers. I need to roll out of this. Oh, I'm dead. See, there you go, folks. That's what you strap in for. That was the first embarrassment of the night. Yeah, locking in and being in Mesa was a little bit rough. We're all good. I mean, getting hit with the Battlist in the back. I mean, but that's the trade-off. I mean, Maybe that's why she's number 2 and not number 1. She is strong. How long is the line for requesting a frame? What do you mean? Oh, you want to see a build real quick? I could do a build real quick. What do you want to see? We're just playing now, so I can do a build in like 1 minute. I'm going to speed run it and fuck off. What killed me? Yeah, I guess I didn't have my 3 active. All right, here we go. We're back one more time. This is why I should have put tank asterisk, because it's not... Mesa just doesn't tank as well as you want to. Keep your 3 active. Keep your buffs active. This is how you play the game, folks. Don't forget how to play the game. All right. Cat's down. Here we go. Bosses are active. Let's dump a little bit. Let's spam this. Let's get some big numbers. There you go. Both of them are down. They're in kind of the open air. So I can hit them with my, my secondary ability. All right, we're out of here. I don't give a fuck about my cat. We're out of here. Goodbye. What do you want to see? Sevagoth gameplay. Oh my god, dude. Josh. Oh my god. Josh, can you wait like 5 minutes? Because Excalibur is the next frame we're doing, and then Sevagoth is right after that. Oh my god, Josh. How did you do that, dude? What the fuck? What's going on right now? I can wait 5 minutes, yeah. Dude, Sevagoth is number 4. He's literally the one after the one I'm doing. So if you got the patience, oh my god, that's hilarious, dude. That's insanity. Oh my god. Alejandro, welcome to chat. Alejandro, I am right about now. I am playing Excalibur Prime, Excalibur Umbra on level 200 Conjunction Survival because we are testing him. Oh my god. There's the Sonicore. We're so close. I am testing him on the Steel Path because he is the 3rd best Exalted Warframe. We're doing Exalted Warframe tier list. Obviously, you're stopping in at the 1 hour, 11 minute mark, but we did start an hour and 11 minutes ago. But yeah, we're testing out Excalibur. This is going to be a fun one. I'm really excited. I'm really going to have a blast. Excalibur is an OG. He is what I would call an absolute OG in the best way possible. He feels old school, but he still rocks. What's an Exalted Warframe? An Exalted Warframe is a Warframe that has a unique weapon that has its own set of mods. So, for example, when you talk about Excalibur, which is the 3rd best Exalted Warframe, what you're talking about is the Exalted Blade. So here we go. We're going to activate the Exalted Blade, and it's going to be a laser blade that shoots these blades of energy into the air in front of you. You're going to keep Breach Surge active, and you're going to spam the Exalted Blade, and you're going to move pretty close to the enemies, because the blades don't actually move that much faster than you do, so you can still be pretty close, but you're seeing the numbers, folks. I am rolling up with no crit chance on this weapon, and I am just getting big fucking numbers, but this is just goofy as fuck. We're just cruising and bruising. We're going to keep Breach Surge active at all times, and what it really means is that you're just maximizing Breach Surge. Oh my god, just these goofy numbers. You're getting big numbers. You're really just a true tank. Like, the whole point is, like, you can tank hits like a fucking madman. As you can see, I am just running around, acting like a fool. Oh, like a Sevagoth Shadow Claw. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, Sevagoth's in a unique space because he is like a full Exalted Warframe, which is just hilarious, and I can't believe they did it, and I love it. Even base Excalibur is crazy good for a starter frame. No, exactly. Base Excalibur has always, will forever be my choice for the starter frame because he has really good survivability mechanics. Like, he is just insanely buff, and he pretty much never dies. And that's the main thing that you're going to always keep in mind is he is just a monster. And you don't even really need to use Exalted Blade because as long as you don't die, what my strategy is for speedrunning the new war is actually getting access to some really strong kit guns, and then running in like a madman and just cruising and bruising and just doing a whole bunch of crazy shit. So let's just keep it up, full speed ahead. We're gonna kind of keep moving. As you can see, my boy is gonna run around like a madman. He's not really gonna do shit while I heal him, but I can kind of heal him permanently. It is pretty sick. I'm gonna do this. And then I'm kind of just going to keep rolling. It is kind of fun to do the blind, but I try to avoid it, so I end up rolling more than I want to. If you tap it fast enough, sometimes you can line it up, but sometimes you can't and you fuck it up, and then you use all your energy. And now you're just back to being a normal Warframe that has to use the Icarius. So keep that in mind. I feel like Sevagoth is probably the most unique frame. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. He's definitely the most expensive frame. Like, Sevagoth is fucking costly. If you want to do a Sevagoth build, it's hilariously expensive. It's like absolutely comical how much it takes just to like put a good set of mods on everything, like literally everything. It's like, Jesus Christ, it just never ends. But once you have it, you're like, oh. And then I got to do it all over again when the Prime version comes out, because I wanted to do him properly, but then I have to do him again properly, and it's like, oh fuck, here we go again. They better give me a fuck ton of Forma on the Sevagoth and Sevagoth, you know, like the Shadow Prime. I'm gonna be pissed off otherwise. Anyway, I feel like that was a good showing for Excalibur. I am excited for Sevagoth because I don't really play him a lot, but he is just a ton of fun. He's so much fun. He's so good. Look at this though. I mean, it is nice because you're rocking Excalibur with triple Umbra, so you just have access to Arcane Avenger, so you're just kind of cruising and bruising at full speed. It's just so easy. Like, look at this shit. I mean, oh my god. And you actually have decent range on Breach Surge, so it's really good for just like spamming the Icarius as well. Like, look at these fucking fire damage numbers. Oh my fucking god. If I can stop staggering myself. Wouldn't that be incredible? I mean, is that always the gameplay or what, folks? I'm just staggering myself. Here's the fun part, though. I don't know where Black and White Man is. Oh, he's up there. I'm going to go over here to him. So the Oculists are here. Once the Oculists show up, they're usually the first one. So what I do is I do this. I shoot somebody to get growing power, and then I'm going to keep my 4 active. And then pretty much all I'm doing from now on is just spamming this shit. Like, in the end, the Exalted Blade is really, really fucking strong. Really, really strong. I don't know why I feel like Sevagoth wouldn't be good higher ranks. Higher ranks? What, you mean like level 1000 plus? I don't really play level 1000 plus. But what I found is like for most gameplay, like if there's a type of gameplay that restricts me from being able to play something, then I'm probably not really gonna do. Ooh, that's a good way to move. That's a good way to move quickly. I kind of like that. You can kind of do this and then move a little bit faster. Look at that. He's going to like knock them around a little bit, but that I kind of like that. Oh, look at that, folks. So you can keep this shit active. Oh, he's going to spam me with a bunch of magnetic procs. Look at this. Oh, he's violence. That's violence. Okay, that's a fun one. I'm going to definitely just clear violence out real quick, because he's going to fuck with me and I do not like him. Okay, there's that, and then I'm going to do this if I can. And he's gone. Okay, I'm almost dead. Jesus. That was close. So that's the thing, is you do kind of want to keep Reach Surge active at all times. Now, and I'm dead. Okay, perfect. Let's do it. Yeah, that was a big hit from somebody. There we go. And I'm back. And I'm going to cast this again. Do this. Oh, and he's fucking down. Yeah, that's good DPS ability. I love that. Shoot him instantly. And then we're doing the same for this fella. We're at 15% life support. I don't really give a fuck if I fail. We're already at the 6-minute mark. We're overdue. We're past due. This whole mission is past due at this point. I owe my boy Josh a Sevagoth gameplay moment, so let's snag some of this shit, grab the Lua Thrax, and then we're out of here, gentlemen. Excuse me, gamers. I should use the gender-neutral term. Or Helldivers as well. Or Tenno would be the other one. Anyway, folks, we're done. That was a good mission. What's the melee I'm using? I'm using the Falcor, which is a glaive, but it's one of the electricity glaives. So the Glaive Prime is by far the best glaive, which is also the best class of weapon, of melee weapons. So Glaive Prime, if you have the Glaive Prime, is super fucking OP and really, really absurd and lovable, and there's nothing that you won't love about it, and I think everybody should get it and just use it. If the game is too hard, use the Glaive Prime. That's what I always say.
As you conquer the foe, so you
what am I missing? What's the best way to farm Endo as a new account? Josh says probably bounties. Yeah, you're gonna end up doing a lot of bounties. Fortuna bounties, you know, Plains of Eidolon bounties. You'll do a lot of them. You know, when you get later, you'll do Demos bounties, and you get even more. But Demos is higher level, so I always try to do Fortuna first, and then I end up doing Plains of Eidolon much later. What's the best melee weapon around Mastery Rank 10? I think at Mastery Rank 4 you can get the Zorus, and that's like by far the best melee weapon. Like the Zorus is an electricity-based glaive with the highest AoE of any weapon. It's like a 9-meter AoE, and you get it from the Protea quest. So just do the Protea quest, and you get you get like the most OP weapon in the air. Oh my god, I got the Zorus. Is it like that? Yeah, it's fucking OP. Yeah. I fucking like the Zorus is my most used weapon by far. It's not even a close second. Like the Glaive Prime is not even a fucking close second. Like the Zorus is criminal. And it's essentially the same as a Falcor, and you can get a Zorus Riven for like you can get an unrolled Zorus Riven for like 25 plat or like 50 plat. What makes it so good? Most glaives just have like these absurd damage stats. Like, I think I might have a normal unmodded build. No, I don't have an unmodded build. So you would probably replace... what would you do? Oh, this is... I think you do need Prime Fury. So this mod would be replaced with... I don't even know what you would replace this Riven with. Probably. Oh, you would replace it with Corrupt Charge. So in this situation, Corrupt Charge would go in this slot, and then this would be Sacrificial Steel. Yeah, Sacrificial Steel. Yeah. So that would be the build you would use, and it is going to get less crit chance, but you're still going to get orange or yellow crits. The zeros is only good for getting Sisters of Parvos. Dude, I fucking love the Zorus. But that is the thing, is it's like, all it really takes is shoot something once with your primary weapon and then kill it with the Zorus. Like, you do need to prime it a little bit, but you don't need to do it a lot. Like, it won't be able to kill anything just flat out, but it's not that hard to kill something with a glaive. It's really not. I mean, your mods are also leagues above mine. Yeah, you do kind of need, like, all of the heavy attack mods to really like do it properly, so that is definitely something to keep in mind. But yeah, let's just have some fun with Sevagoth. Fair play, all things considered. My favorite game, Anthem. Good one. I don't need to prime anything. I use Redeemer Prime and just delete something. But yeah, I think my whole thing with Redeemer Prime is it's like, yeah, it's good if you shoot one thing. It's good to kill one thing. But I can pretty much kill one thing the same as I kill a lot of things. It's just when you need to kill one thing, you just point all of your guns at it. You dump like half a mag of each gun, and then you use the Zorus or the Falcor or something with insane damage stats. Or you use one of your DPS. Like, the whole point is, like, most Warframes have some way to clear out a boss type and like enemy. Like, I have another video coming up much later. I have another stream. Like, once we're way deep into, like, the weapon tier list, like, I'm doing a whole video where we talk about Necromech killers. And the Necromech killer is a class of pistol that exists solely based on the intention that at some point in the future, it's more of high BPS. Yeah, see, people don't always know this, but I have this Nostradamus effect where I can just tell when somebody plays a lot of Disruption or when somebody does a lot of endurance missions, because they always talk in a specific way and they always do that. They always play kind of very, very similar. So once again, that's points for me. That's a classic moment. I mean, Disruption, I had to make a specific Disruption build, which was literally just the burst in Incarnon, and that's it. And I just pointed it at something and it died, and that was it. Because I just fucking hate Disruption missions. They're not, like, fun. I don't enjoy them. I do not have fun with them. But yeah, let's peep this. Look at this. Oh my god. Nice. That's good. You're gonna spam this shit and just kind of keep it active. I dumped all my energy. That was kind of stupid. Should not have done that. I mean, I just hop onto a couple things and get off. I don't stick around playing Warframe. Yeah, okay, so then you're not like doing endurance. That's like the other main thing. But yeah, I just don't do disruption because it's exactly that reason, that it forces you to do it forces you to play in a specific way, and it doesn't allow me to randomize my gear, which is the whole point. My whole philosophy with all games is that you have to add some kind of randomization factor, some kind of gimmick, some kind of arcade gimmick that allows you to play a little bit differently and abstract the gameplay a little bit. So this is the main thing, is we're switching into the shadow. We're going to be trying to pull... Oh, I died instantly from something. Okay, that's good to know. But I still have full shadow. So I need to kind of pull enemies more. Oh, I have no energy. That's great. And there we go. Juicy as always. I'm getting spammed a little bit. There you go. But I can pretty much full heal from that. Disruption comes up in sorties and Archon hunts. That's the only reason I do them. Yeah, okay. Well, then there you go. Well, then you're not like a disruption head. But yeah, no. Like, disruption is not content that I play for. I have a disruption build, and then I have an everything else build because I fucking hate disruption. And it forces you to use a one-shot weapon when it's like, even when I'm playing when I'm doing like an exterminate mission on the Entradi Labs tile set, that's when you get like a necromech spawning, and that's when you're like still doing an exterminate, but then you're forced to deal with a boss enemy now. And it's in a different context, and it's just a better mechanic than doing a disruption, which is like you're just forced to kill it, and that's the entire gameplay. Like, I much prefer like a mini boss in the middle of normal gameplay. Like, that's why I love the acolytes, and that's why I love doing exterminate, because it's like there's not really a failure state. As long as you don't die 5 times, like, you're pretty much fine. You don't really have to worry about it. Is your main source of plat your wallet, or do you have a method? No, I don't farm plat. No, I buy the Prime Access because I don't want to fucking farm Prime relics, let's be honest, folks. But yeah, no, like, I get enough plat to serve me forever from the Prime Access. Like, I pretty much never use it. But yeah, you're kind of seeing the gameplay loop. It's very, very easy with Sevagoth. You're spamming like crazy. There you go, too easy. Well, I'm judging... You're judging my fashion frames? What about them? Detroit Boss says, let me play with you. Detroit Boss, if you want to join the gameplay, join the Discord, drop your username in the username chat, and then just kind of give me a holler when you're in the game. Tell me what your name is on Discord, and then I'll look up your username and get you invited to the gameplay. That's how we do it around these parts, folks. Here we go. I'm going to do something a little bit more dirty nasty. I'm going to hit him with this. I'm going to spam this. I'm going to hit that, and then I'm just going to kind of go wild. Look at this. Oh, that's kind of almost a one-shot. Look at that. So juicy. I love the Acolyte spawning early. That's so much fun. I think we might have time for Octavia. Best Acolyte killer. I don't know. My whole philosophy is that if you have a weapon that can't kill an Acolyte, you probably shouldn't be using it. Because in the end, Steel Path is my fun gameplay. Like a Steel Path Exterminate or like a Steel Path Survival. Oh, I'm fucked. A Steel Path Exterminate or Survival is a lot more fun because it's a little more straightforward. I think I prefer an Exterminate on the Entradi Labs tile set because in a Survival, you have to actually be in a specific area, but in an Exterminate, you can actually explore the whole area and get all the different, you know, the different, whatever you want to call it, the little dudes. And then once you get all of those, you're pretty much fine. I do think, like, I should be farming that more because I'm going to need infinite melee arcane adapters. I'm literally going to need melee arcane adapters for the rest of my life. Oh, this is too easy. I just need to grab a few enemies. 2, 1, come on, 1. Come on, 1. Fuck off. 1, there you go. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to definitely keep research active, and then I'm going to click 2, and that should pretty much clear out everything. Oh my god. Holy shit. I did not realize how good Sevagoth was. Tells you how much I actually play him. Right, gentlemen? Right, gamers, as I should say. Here we go. They're all dead. Yeah, we're good. All right, we're out of here, folks. Too easy. Way too easy. I mean, are we having fun or what? I mean, you're just kind of cruising at full speed. He's so spammable. He's so much fun to spam. Can you show your Sevagoth build after you win? Yeah, absolutely. I'll go over it real quick. I don't have Discord. Oh, well then, yeah. Well, I've got one more mission. Drop your username and I'll see if I can add you. How much Forma, Umbra Forma in the build? Do not even get me started. Do not even get me started. Ev does trumpet. I have probably 10, 12, maybe 14 Forma on this guy. Let me... Oh, yeah. They look expensive. Yeah, all my fashion frames are expensive. Yeah. Because a lot of them are prime access fashion. Like, those wings, those like, energy wings, those are from the Garuda Prime Access. So you can't get that anymore. I have 14 myself, yeah. It's probably pretty similar. Can you suggest a melee for a beginner? Honestly, stick with the Skana for a long time. You might get a Zaw later on, but I say go for the Zorus. Like, in the end, go for the Zorus. Go for the Zorus at rank 4, at Master rank 4. That'll be pretty good for you. Anyway, let's do the Sevagoth build real quick, and then we'll do one last frame, and then we're out of here. Here we go. Sevagoth build. Let's do it. Yeah. 222 on the strength. That's the big one. 75 range. That's the other big one. 28% duration. Keep that in mind. What you're talking about is double dipping on steel charge. You do need Arcane Grace and Arcane Guardian. You are also talking about Prime Continuity being the only duration when you have Transient Fortitude. The numbers are important. We've got 111 crit chance and 111 damage vulnerability from Reap. Shadow Haze is going to triple your shadows and also give them bonus crit chance. Shout out Eric for following. So keep that in mind. Your second ability, you saw, did a fuck ton of damage. That was insane, the numbers. I was blown away. Shout out Kurozavi for following. And then, of course, Breach Surge is going to augment that even further when you talk about getting this shit active, which is your Exalted Shadow, which we're going to talk about right now. Sevagoth Shadow. You've got Hunter Adrenaline to give you infinite energy. Your second ability is going to give you health back, so have adaptation. Got the Arcane Guardian, Arcane Grace combo. You're going to pretty much need it. You're talking about having Consume to heal you, and also your third with his Death Harvest is going to give you that damage vulnerability. It might also give you crit chance as well. I'm not sure. And then, of course, Embrace 35 meters on the pole is really good. I hope you see all the mods. Shadow's Claws. Here we go. We've got a very expensive build because we are rocking Dreamer's Wrath, because it is fun to use Tennokai on a Exalted Warframe. Excuse me. Super hilarious. Super fun. I think that's pretty much it. I heard a ping in the Discord. I heard that. Let's come over here real quick and talk about the last Warframe. Number 5 on the list, the last Warframe we're going to be playing, Titania Prime. We're going to have fun with Titania. I want to see what that was in the Discord. I want to see what that ping was. Let's look at this. Let's take a quick peek. Here we go. Oh my god. Oh, I guess I missed Boru joining on March 3rd, and I had Det Boss joining. Shout out Det Boss. Is that Detroit Boss? Shout out. Let's see. Ev Does Trumpet. Shout out Ev Does Trumpet for following. Shout out Detroit Boss. Yeah, drop your username in the usernames chat. And then, yeah, just... I mean, yours is easy. If it's Det Boss and Detroit Boss, then I'll just know. So, yeah, just be like, hey... Message me in TikTok, be like, hey, I'm here, and then I'll get you joined up. So let's get it going. I mean, this probably won't make it for this one because we're already going for Titania, but this is the last one, folks. I want to say YouTube. Appreciate you guys right now. We got 21 views. I'm pretty sure. Oh, it says average view duration is 8 minutes. I want to see what the total watch time is, though, because some of you guys on YouTube have been watching for a long time, so... Shout out YouTube right now. You guys are crushing it.
Each enemy is more powerful than before.
How get to play with you? Drop the username in the TikTok or in the Discord, and then I might be able to add you in right now. Oh no, I'm on solo. No, it's too late. Sorry, I'll get you in next time. You got to be here. Same time.
Stand by for life support.
I think I'm already on solo. Oh, I'm trapped. Hang on one sec. But that's it, folks. I mean... So here we go. Next week is going to be different. Next week we're doing the top 10 Warframes, so that's going to be a lot faster. I'm going to try and speedrun those builds a lot quicker because the whole point is I want to review all 10 Warframes. And so part of that whole process is that it'll be a lot easier to get you into the gameplay and to get anyone else into the gameplay, because we'll be able to more show off, like, in terms of squad type gameplay or other things like that. So definitely stop on by in the future if you want to, you know, get involved in the stream or anything like that. That's kind of the whole point, is like, as I approach getting partner on YouTube, the whole point is like, I want to do it right for you guys and give you the opportunity to get involved, and, you know, we're going to have some fun with it. Like, we're definitely going to be doing some fun stuff where, you know, we'll have some giveaways going. Like, the whole point is I want to really gamblify it. What I want to do is I want to give you guys, like, what I really want to give you guys is, like, you know, we have a raffle, but then there's another level to the raffle where in the raffle you could get a Veiled Riven, or you could get an Anasa sculpture. Now, it might be a filled Anasa sculpture, but it'd still be an Anasa sculpture. So it's like, I want to kind of troll you guys a little bit, even though I'm going to give you a raffle and have some fun with it and do something goofy and silly, because I think it'll be fun to, like, give you guys, like, a random spin wheel and get you guys involved. So that, like, if you're on TikTok, if you're on YouTube, like, if you subscribe, if you're a subscriber on TikTok and YouTube, then you'll get a double raffle. So you'll get a double entry into the raffle, and that'll be something that I'll have to set up, and you know, I'll have to, you know, it'll have to be something that I'll have to figure out, and kind of figure out a command to plug into my Discord and get that all set up. So the whole point is, like, follow me on YouTube. You know, once that time comes and the raffle starts opening up, then yeah, definitely, you know, if you have the money and you're able to, subscribe on TikTok, subscribe on YouTube. Those are, I think, are going to be my big two platforms, because my goal is to, like, put out some different types of content. Like, I want to try and do some type of, like, Wukong streams or some Elden Ring streams, and do some different content and try out some different games. And the end goal is, like, once I hit that 500 mark, then that's kind of my opportunity to do a format that is more sustainable. Because in the end, like, I can't do Warframe tutorials forever. I can't do the same Warframe tier list over and over. Shout out Surge for following. Eve Does Trumpet says, how does one get your orbiter? If I'm right, I think it's limited. No, it's Zephyr's deluxe bundle. So Zephyr's deluxe bundle has a ship, it has an operator skin. It's like one of the most expensive deluxe bundles, but it's also one of the best. Shout out Surge for following. Love how that Titania looks. Yeah, dude, this is one of the new Titania deluxe skins. And of course, when you have energy wings, I've paired her energy wings. Oh, she has the nice Syandana. What do I have as the ephemera? What's her ephemera? Do I have the Bloodwing? What's her ephemera? I don't even see her ephemera right now. What is that? Is it the Bloodwings? I think I just can't see the Bloodwings. I think they are there, but I think there should be Bloodwings back there. But yeah, that's part of her build, or her look, is the ephemera, the extra set of wings. But yeah, I think it just doesn't show up because it's just so fucking glaring. Like, maybe if I switch to my melee weapon, it'll show up. No, it doesn't even show up then. Anyway, it's kind of weird. Whatever, folks. Whatever. Keep it moving. Keep that shit active. Wukong was okay. Yeah, I think that's the thing, is, like, I think for most people, Wukong is not really even, like, they're gonna ever be their cup of tea. Because I think if you're not, like, obsessed with, like, the Team Ninja format, then you're not really gonna give a fuck. Like, there's a reason that I spent $90 on the deluxe edition instead of just waiting for the complete edition, because I actually know how Wukong games work. Like, I have like 300 hours in Wukong, because the whole point is, like, you have to beat the game 4 times and then you unlock the roguelike mode, and that's the only real reason to play any Team Ninja game. Like, I'm gonna go back and play Stranger of Paradise. That's one of the ones that I want to do. I want to go and play that on stream, like, once I hit, like, you know, once I get partner on YouTube. Oh, I'm gonna fail this mission. One sec. I'm gonna fail this mission. One sec. Yeah, I just failed this mission. All right, there you go, folks. That's how we're closing it out. I'm aborting this mission. There you go. Oh my god. I thought it was going to be harder. Yeah, I think if the stats are right, then it's good. Anyway, that's it. We're done. We end it with some fucking goofy shit. We end it dying to a battle list because I didn't have my 3 active. So there you go. That's how we close it out. Jesus Christ. A little bit of embarrassment at the end. Yeah, shout out Ev does trumpet. Yeah, we're done. No, I feel like the whole point of Wo Long is like it's not hard. It's not hard. Like once your stats are set up, it's not hard. But the whole point is like that's why it has the like Vincent doesn't even know that there's like a damage reduction mechanic where you can reduce the damage you deal, you can reduce your health, you can reduce your spirit damage, you can increase the spirit damage dealt, and when you do that, you get higher luck stats and you also get higher rarity gear. So the whole point is it's incentivizing you, like once you hit a certain level, like once you hit level 1,000, then you're incentivized to play the game on a harder difficulty and do harder stats because it's just more fun. Anyway, we're done here. We completed the entire stream. We had 1,300 likes on TikTok. We had 13 new followers, 400 total views, and we had 1 diamond. So shout out that 1 diamond. That's pretty much all I got for you, YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed. I want to say we had 21 total views and we had a ton of people watching this whole time. So I really appreciate all the concurrent viewers on YouTube. It's good to see some return viewership. Average view duration 8 minutes and 49 seconds. That's incredible. I saw some big watch time, so I want to go in and see what that is. So I really appreciate you guys on YouTube. That was a huge stream. That's all I got for you, YouTube. Take care, folks. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye. I'm out of here.